point out is sine always starts so sine starts in the middle of the graph and then goes up and down. So we have to figure out where that is. So here's the starting value. Sorry. So we start here. So this is our typical sine graph. You know, that starts like mid-graph and then goes up and down. So seeing that is important. Seeing that starting value has changed from a normal 0, 0 starting value. So that's something you should always be looking for. Now, if it's cosine, it would have been starting up at the top. So if we wanted to talk about cosine, cosine would have been like starting there. But I think it's easier to do sine. Okay? Are we ready to go through this?
You betcha.
Yes.
Okay.
Of course.
All right.
I did everything right.
Really?
Until I
Good.
did the ice. I did
So
something.
one of the things, again, I probably would have changed my order of these a little bit. I think finding that midline is important because kind of everything starts from there. Because this tells me that my graph shifted up 2. So my d value is positive 2. Because it goes up 2 from the starting value. But one of the things a bunch of you guys missed on this one, when I was talking with you, we go up 2, but we have to move over 1 because technically that should be the starting value. So that's right 1. So that's our C. So right 1, which is actually going to look like a negative 1 in my formula, right?
Dang it. Missed it.
Now the amplitude is how high and low it goes. So it goes from 2 to 5 or 2 to negative 1. That's 3 because 5 to negative 1 is 6 and half of that would be 3. So that's my amplitude. Now the period's probably the toughest one. And this one is strange because we don't have pi's as our like units on our graph. But it goes from 3 to 11. Or like Jolie had checked like 1 to 9, same thing. It's okay, no, it's okay, you're good. So anywhere you check, the start to the end should be 8 apart. Now that's the period, that's P. Now remember that equals 2 pi over B. I have to figure out what B is. So I'm going to cross multiply here. Cross multiply, I get 2 pi equals 8B. So to solve for B, I'm just going to divide by 8. So I have 2 pi over 8, which is just pi over 4. So that's my B value. So when I go to put this all together in my equation, again, if I'm using sine, the amplitude is 3. The B value has to get multiplied to the x. Don't forget the x. We move in right 1 and then up 2. Now technically you could have done this with cosine as well. It's just cosine, then the shift would be further over and further up. Or no, just further over. It would have moved over more slots. Okay, questions there? All right, why don't we take a little notes break here? Because this next one's going to need all of our energy.